Shunning wrong livelihoods, growing good roots.
Welcome. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into an excerpt from a document on moving beyond unrighteous livelihoods and cultivating good roots. It discusses several concepts I find quite interesting. For example, how to clearly recognize and avoid unrighteous livelihoods, that is, improper ways of making a living. Also, the power of focus seems very important. Then there are several Buddhas and Bodhisattvas mentioned: Ratnasambhava Buddha, Medicine Buddha, Amitabha Buddha, and a truly mysterious one, Bodhisattva Vasumitra. She's very unique. So, today we'll explore how these insights can offer practical methods for those of us who feel our minds are somewhat chaotic, what the document calls unstable in nature and consciousness. The document begins by discussing unrighteous livelihoods, a term that sounds critical. What's its origin? What does it mean? And what are its seemingly serious consequences? The document explains unrighteous livelihood very clearly. It means earning a living through improper professions, such as killing living beings. The consequences are described with the words fearful, meaning extremely dreadful. It emphasizes that if you can generate bodhicitta, that awakened mind striving for Buddhahood, for the benefit of elites, like obtaining a wish-fulfilling jewel, and you naturally won't need to engage in those harmful actions. There's also an example. Even if you intend to help people but use the wrong method, such as opening a slaughterhouse to provide jobs, not only will you gain no merit, but the negative karma of all participants will be attributed to you. The outcome would be disastrous. This directly relates to right livelihood and right action in the Eightfold Path. It means doing work that is beneficial for yourself and others. While you might not earn as much in the short term, in the long run, it helps you avoid those terrible consequences. Next, regarding the power of focus, the document uses the analogy of the sun essence pearl, which can draw fire from the sun. It says, bodhicitta is like the wisdom Sunday jewel, which can generate the fire of wisdom when directed at the sun of wisdom. This sounds very powerful. But for someone with a chaotic mind, isn't focus the hardest thing? So the document connects focus with upholding precepts, stating, when the mind is fixed on one point, nothing is impossible. Fixing the mind on one place allows anything to be accomplished. This contrasts with a scattered mind, especially as the document mentions things like sexual desire, yin-yu, which can disrupt all six senses, making concentration impossible. How do we differentiate between what is genuinely good and what is false happiness? The document says that true good, like upholding precepts, will lead to continuous improvement and increasing benefit. False happiness, like sensory stimulation, is momentary and ultimately leads to suffering. It's like eating too much or maintaining the same sleeping posture, temporarily comfortable but unsustainable in the long run. Therefore, the document encourages you to verify this for yourself. Hearing the Dharma is very important, as it can constantly remind you to discern. Speaking of Bodhisattva Vasumitra, her method of liberating sentient beings is truly wondrous. The document describes it vividly. Simply by seeing her, speaking to her, holding her hand, even observing her stretching or blinking, one can immediately be freed from greed. And not just from greed, one can also attain various levels of samadhi, deep meditative states, such as joyful samadhi. This power comes from her extremely powerful and focused concentration, strong enough to transform the greed of sentient beings. However, there's a prerequisite. To approach her, one must be a good man or good woman who has aroused bodhicitta like Sudhana. So, it's not for just anyone. One must have genuinely aroused bodhicitta. The document says that drawing near her and assisting her can ultimately lead one to the bodhisattva's all-knowing ground, though it doesn't specify how long it takes. It still sounds like some foundation is required. This demonstrates the bodhisattva's skillful means of guiding beings, but it also depends on our own conditions. What if, like me or many listeners, our minds are unstable and difficult to settle on their own? Does the document offer any methods for us? Yes, this is where I find this document very considerate. It provides what could be called a safety net progression, or a kind of ladder. The first and most crucial step is Ratnasambhava Buddha. Simply hearing or thinking of his name can eternally free one from the evil realms and ensure rebirth in the heavens. This essentially helps you lay the foundation of the 10 wholesome actions. He specifically helps those who find it difficult to abandon evil and cultivate good on their own. With this foundation, one can then proceed to the second step and receive the blessings of the Medicine Buddha. From Medicine Buddha, one obtains the provisions for practice, such as correct views, diligence, and the ability to subdue one's mind. The third stage is to rely on Amitabha Buddha to attain the 6 supernormal powers. Finally, one seeks out Bodhisattva Vasumitra to not only be free from the boundary of greed, but also to attain various samadhis. So, this is a very practical sequence. First, rely on Ratnasambhava Buddha to prevent falling. Then rely on Medicine Buddha for the blessings of practice. And finally, aim for Amitabha Buddha. Once the foundation is laid, there's a greater chance of aligning with the state of Bodhisattva Vasumitra. Looking at it this way today, from the fearfulness of unrighteous livelihood and the importance of righteous livelihood, to the power of focus, and then understanding this ladder designed for unstable minds, Ratnasambhava Buddha, Medicine Buddha, Amitabha Buddha, and finally witnessing Bodhisattva Vasumitra's incredible way of liberating beings. What happens after accumulating these merits and wisdom? The document offers another analogy, the moon essence pearl, which can draw water when facing the moon. It says that dedication and making vows are like the moon essence pearl gathering moisture, able to collect your merits and transform them into your own good roots in vow water. And it once again emphasizes that bodhicitta is the sole true good root. So, constantly thinking about and speaking the Dharma is beneficial for oneself and others, and it will continuously increase one's merit. Finally, I'd like to leave you with a question to ponder. Since the document states that merely hearing the names of Buddhas like Ratnasambhava Buddha has such great benefits for those of us whose minds tend to wander, what might happen if we consciously try to think of the name of one of these Buddhas or Bodhisattvas in our daily lives, even just for a moment? Perhaps this is something worth experiencing for yourself.